In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can use AI to design yourself a professional logo. I'll be walking you through 4 different methods here, ranging from extremely beginner friendly to some more advanced techniques where I'm going to be using traditional creative tools like Adobe Illustrator to really put some polish on the AI logo. With all these methods though, I'll just be using ChatGPT 4.0, which you might already be familiar with, and it's a completely free software. All you have to go do is make an account over on ChatGPT.com. So without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the most beginner-friendly version here, where I'm just gonna be using ChatGPT 4.0 and nothing else. All right, so I'm logged into ChatGPT, into my account, and I have the model 4.0 selected. So starting off, I knew I wanted to design a logo for this YouTube channel, Artificial. Particularly, I'm gonna design the profile picture, and I just wanna use a letter A and kind of put a futuristic type of twist on it to resemble artificial intelligence and the theme around this YouTube channel. So the prompt I wrote for that was design me a modern futuristic logo using a bold serif letter A. In the white space of the letter A, put a star or a sparkle graphic. This is for my YouTube channel, which is all about creative AI and artificial intelligence. So the logo should have a futuristic and modern type of feel. And right off the bat, this is what it gave me, which is actually pretty cool. But kind of what I had in my head was actually to use this black space here as the star itself. So I asked ChatGPT, that looks great, but I was envisioning the black part of the A where you put the star in the middle to be the star itself. Does that make sense? ChatGPT responded saying that it does. And I just asked that just to get kind of clarification because I didn't think I did the best job of explaining what I wanted, but I think it got the gist, and it actually gave me some more options, like do I want the star in the middle to be a 4-point sparkle, kind of like it did here, or do I want it to be more organic? So I had it do both of those. This was the first one, which is kind of what I was envisioning of having the star actually form out of the shape. And then I had it do the second option, which it actually gave me a color version, which isn't exactly what I was after. I'm just looking to design something black and white for now, but really interesting inspiration here, and something, you know, that you could definitely develop further. I think this would be really interesting for an animation down the line. And then from there, I just said, I like this direction, but I want to see some alternatives just to kind of explore other options here. So it gave me this, which I actually really like as well. And I wanted to see what else it could come up with. So I just said, can you give me some more experimental takes? So it gave me this. And actually something that I found out is, at least right now, 4.0 only gives you 1 generation back at a time. So I was trying to do this all at once, but then I kind of figured out, as you can see, it'll only give you 1 at a time. So if you want to do variations like this, just take it 1 at a time. And something also to note is that there's an image generation limit of how fast you can do this. So sometimes you'll have to wait a minute or so before proceeding with the next generation. So here are all those generations that it gave me. Ultimately, I actually ended up liking one of these earlier generations, which is this letter A. So taking this a step further, you could prompt anything that you want changed about it. So what I'm gonna do is I actually want these colors inverted. So I have just a plain black logo against a white background. So I'm gonna say, can you invert the colors so the logo is black and the background is white? And for some reason, it added this text underneath, which I didn't ask for. If something like that happens, click on the image, say what you want removed. I'm just gonna say remove the text underneath the main logo and keep the main logo centered on the canvas. All right, and there you have it. So now I have 2 versions of the logo, one against a white background and one against a black background. If you wanted this as a PNG without the white background, you could go ahead and ask ChatGPT to remove the background or put it on a transparent background. You could also experiment with color. So for example, can you add some color to the background? I'm thinking a purple gradient with the logo in white. One important thing to note is sometimes when you just respond down here in this chat box, it'll give you your generation back as a downloadable file, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you want to kind of keep it all in ChatGPT, actually click on the image itself and put your prompt request here. For example, background to be a green gradient with the logo in white. And now you'll see that it gave it back to me in ChatGPT. And if you want to make further revisions, again, just click on that image and ask what you'd like to update or change. So here are my final logos, and with that, let's dive into technique 2, where I'm actually going to be finding some inspiration on Pinterest to feed into ChatGPT, sort of as a starting point, and building around that. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, this method is where things begin to get really fun and interesting, in my opinion. I hopped onto Pinterest and created a mood board with various futuristic fonts, typography, and just overall imagery that sort of caught my attention, that's in line with the vibe of the logo that I want to develop here. So I decided it'd be cool to try to develop a word mark for artificial. So I found this cool font and image from Pinterest, and I uploaded it into ChatGPT 4.0 as a reference image. And I just prompted, using this font, can you generate a logo that says artificial? And it did. It gave me this. Then I asked it, can you incorporate a 4-pointed sparkle and star into the logo somewhere? And this is what it gave me. And I reran that prompt a couple of times to just get more variants. And these are all the options that it came up with for me. Pretty cool. And here's another example, similar prompt, just swapping out the image for this sort of futuristic sci-fi type of text. And it gave me this. And I wanted the A to be a little more pronounced here and legible. So I just told it, can you try to make the A more pronounced? And it gave me this. And just one more example, I found this logo as well on Pinterest, and it generated me this. So really, really cool stuff here. Whether you want to use this as a finished logo or just as a vehicle to generate ideas, which I think I'm more fascinated and drawn to because I am a designer. So, there's a lot of things about these logos that I might personally nitpick or want to change. But at the very least, I think we can all agree, as a purely brainstorming tool, this is pretty amazing. So I messed around with this a lot more, and I'm going to show you guys some of the experimentations on the screen. Now, one more thing that I messed around with using this technique was finding textures and cool colors that I could apply to my logo that I designed in method 1. So I found this texture on Pinterest and said, can you apply the style and colors from this logo to my A logo? And it gave me this. And then I told it to remove this little corner bit. Then I asked it to make it more glassy and translucent, and it gave me this. And then I wanted some more reds and colors incorporated, so I told it to do that, and there you have it. It added some more red. So I hope by now you're starting to get a feel that there really is no right or wrong way to approach prompting AI. It's really just a game of experimentation, prompting and reprompting until you get results that you're satisfied with. But my hope is, by showing you guys some real world examples here, that you can feel inspired to go try this yourself. Now, the next 2 methods in this video, I'm going to be introducing a bit more of creative control and my own artistic touch. So if that interests you, I think you'll really enjoy these next 2 methods. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be placing some of these logos on mockups using AI. So if you want to see that, make sure to stick around. All right, so this third method I'm going to show you is really, really cool. I actually sketched out some logo concepts on my iPad here. Then I imported those into ChatGPT as references. If you don't have an iPad, you can do this just as well with some pen and paper, then use your phone to take a picture of that and import it into ChatGPT. So I'm gonna walk you through a couple examples here. Here's the first image that I uploaded, and I said, can you turn this drawing of mine into a more polished logo? And it gave me this, but if you can see, it's missing a little white piece here. So I tried to ask ChatGPT to add that back, and it still didn't really understand that request. So I'm gonna show you another quick tip here. If you click on your logo and then click this select tool in the upper right-hand corner, you can actually specify to ChatGPT what area you're trying to fix, and then add your prompt into that. So all I did there was ask it to add white here to match the other side of the logo, and it understood that request. Here's another one I did using this cursive logo that I sketched out. I just said, can you match this lowercase cursive logo sketch of mine that says artificial with a 4-pointed star over the letter I, and it gave me this, but if you'll see, my logo is actually a lowercase cursive A. So I said, can you make this a lowercase cursive? And it gave me this. So I messed around with this more, importing some of my other sketches that I drew, and here are the other results that I got. By the way, real quick, if you're enjoying this video and getting value, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and hit like on this video. It really helps my channel and motivates me to keep creating interesting, creative AI tutorials like this one. All right, so the fourth method I wanted to walk you through is how you can turn this into a vector file that you can then pull into either a software like Canva or Adobe Illustrator. The perk of this is then you can change colors more easily outside of ChatGPT, or you can even combine concepts, and you can really start to let your own human creativity and imagination really shine. So I tried to mess around with ChatGPT quite a bit to vectorize one of these logos for me, but I was pretty unsuccessful. By the time you watch this video, maybe they've addressed some of these problems, but I'm just gonna walk you through how to do this with a couple free tools outside of ChatGPT, because this is the best result that ChatGPT was able to give me. And obviously this doesn't look very clean or very good. So the first thing to note here is if you have your logo against a black background, you'll want to ask ChatGPT to actually invert those colors. That way your logo is black against a white background. Then if you click on your image, you'll notice that the logo itself is actually quite low in resolution. So I tried to ask ChatGPT to upres it, and it was pretty unsuccessful. So I ended up just using this free tool I found online that upscales images, upscaled it by 400%. And that gave me much smoother lines around my logo. Then from there, I found another tool online that converts images to SVG vectors. If you have Adobe Illustrator, you can also just do this natively in Illustrator using the live trace function, which I highly recommend. Then finally, from there, I was able to upload that into Canva to change the color. And then I also ended up pulling all those into Adobe Illustrator and kind of refining and making more concepts over there, tweaking the paths, cleaning things up, that sort of thing. And if you're curious, here are the logos that came out of that process. As a bonus here, I'm gonna be using ChatGPT to create a couple digital mockups using one of my favorite logo concepts that I made by combining two different of my styles, and then also using ChatGPT to apply this sort of colorful VHS retro style effect. So I uploaded that into ChatGPT. Then I said, can you place this graphic of mine on a black flat lay style t-shirt? And it did that. It put it on the front of a t-shirt, but I was kind of envisioning it on the back. So I said, can you put this graphic on the back of a t-shirt? Then on the front, put artificial text as a small left corner chest print. Then place the front and back mockup side by side, and also make the background color a light gray. And here is the result of that prompt. Then I asked it, can you place this on a black coffee mug mockup? And it did that really well. And then to show you how you can start to get a little creative with this is I said, can you put the mug on a retro style TV? So it looks like a vintage advertisement for the mug. And I got this, which you could of course further prompt and add text that advertises the mug or the pricing if you were going to use this on, say, your website. One other fun technique you can do is you can find mockups online or inspiration imagery. So for example, I found this picture of these holographic stickers off of Pinterest. Then I uploaded that along with my logo and said, can you mock this logo up on a holographic sticker? And then it gave me this. Another example of that is I found this blue hoodie mock-up online that I liked, and I asked it, can you mock the logo up on that? And then it was able to do that as well. So as you can probably tell, the only limit here is your creativity and a bit of experimentation with ChatGPT. Sometimes you don't always nail it with the first prompt, but that's a part of the process. Just keep refining and maybe tweaking the prompt ever so slightly until you get the result that you're after. And so that's gonna do it for this video. I hope that was helpful for you all. Let me know which method or methods you try, and I'll be in the comments down below to help answer any of your questions or guide you along this process. My whole goal with this YouTube channel, Artificial, is to showcase how you can use AI to enhance your existing creativity. I believe AI isn't a replacement for creatives. As you can tell from this video, I used a lot of my own creative and design background to kind of help guide and ultimately have a creative vision here. So the human is definitely still a critical component in this process, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider giving this channel a subscribe and liking this video. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.